You know what's straight up frustrating? You can devour every personal finance book out there, binge every YouTube guru on budgeting hacks, scroll through endless Instagram experts flexing their perfect money routines, and still wake up feeling like you're secretly failing at this whole adulting with money thing. You're not lazy. You're not dumb. You're not bad with money. The real kicker? Almost every piece of advice you've swallowed treats you like some emotionless robot. Never exhausted after a brutal week. Never stressed about bills popping up out of nowhere. Never tempted to say screw it and drop $80 on takeout because life just kicked you in the teeth. Nobody talks about that part. The part where real life shows up. Unexpected car repair. Anxiety spiral. Kid needs new shoes yesterday. Or you just need one tiny win to feel human again. And suddenly all those spreadsheets and track every penny rules go right out the window. That's why the same advice that works for some people leaves most of us spinning our wheels, feeling guilty, and wondering why we can't just get it together. But here's the truth most experts won't admit. Money isn't just math. It's deeply emotional. And until you stop fighting your human side and start working with it, the cycle keeps going. Here's the brutal truth most money gurus won't say out loud. Yeah, the advice is technically spot on. Spend less than you make. Stack that emergency fund. Invest early and often. Ditch bad debt like yesterday's trash. All of it checks out on paper. Math doesn't lie. But knowing the playbook and actually running the plays in real life? Two totally different games. Because every piece of perfect financial advice lives in this fantasy bubble where your willpower is ironclad 24/7. Mom's rent never suddenly spikes. The car doesn't die the exact week you gotta buy school supplies. You're not bone tired from grinding 2 jobs just to keep the lights on. Life doesn't throw curveballs like medical bills, layoffs, or just needing one damn night out to feel like a human again. It assumes you're a robot with unlimited discipline and zero emotions. Newsflash, you're not. And that's exactly why so many of us read the books, watch the videos, follow the plans, and still end up feeling like failures. Guilty. Stuck. Ashamed. The system isn't broken because the math is wrong. It's broken because it ignores the very human stuff that actually runs our lives. Real financial progress doesn't start with another spreadsheet or just save more. It starts when we stop beating ourselves up for being human and start building a money plan that actually works with the messiness of real life. If this is hitting way too close to home right now, you're not alone, and you're not failing. You're just playing by rules that were never written for people like us. Let me tell you what I mean. Real talk. A few years back, I picked up that book everyone's obsessed with. You know the one. Probably Dave Ramsey's Total Money Makeover or something similar that screams, save 3-6 months of expenses in an emergency fund before you even think about anything else. Sounds rock solid on the surface, right? Except back then I was scraping by paycheck to paycheck. Rent plus groceries already ate everything. 6 months of expenses? That was like $8,000 staring me in the face. I couldn't picture having $8K just chilling in a savings account. Hell, I could barely cover next week's bills without sweating. So instead of firing me up to hustle harder, it just crushed me, made me feel like I'd already lost the game before it even started. Hopeless. Like, why bother? I'm so far behind I'll never catch up. And that's the sneaky problem with most of this stuff. The advice itself? Not wrong. The math holds up. But it's written from the other side of the mountain by people who already have steady jobs, no crazy emergencies popping off, and the luxury of breathing room. They forgot, or never really knew, what survival mode feels like. Choosing ramen over real food so you can stash $20. Praying the car doesn't break down because one toe could wipe you out. Every extra dollar already spoken for. Bills, family help, that one kid's school thing that can't wait. It's not built for folks in the trenches. It's built for people who already have some stability, who can just save without it meaning they skip meals or skip life. The result? Good people read the gospel, try to follow it to the letter, and end up feeling like total failures when real life doesn't play along. That's not motivation. That's a guilt trip disguised as wisdom. The fix isn't throwing out the books. It's rewriting the rules so they actually fit your reality. Start smaller. Celebrate the $50 win. Build momentum without the shame, because you're not behind. You're just human, playing on hard mode. Here's what they don't tell you, and what most money experts conveniently skip. Personal finance isn't just cold, hard math. It's psychology. It's stress that keeps you up at 3 a.m. It's identity, who you think you should be. It's shame when you fall short. It's fear of never getting ahead. It's all the messy, uncomfortable human stuff that comes crashing in with money. Be real with me for a second. You already know you shouldn't grab coffee every single day. You already know cooking at home saves cash. You already know credit card debt is a slow-motion financial gut punch with those insane interest rates. But knowing doesn't flip the switch on behavior. Not when you're emotionally drained after a soul-crushing day. Not when that $5 latte is literally the only 15 minutes of peace you get during a 12-hour grind. Not when dragging yourself home after a 2-hour commute means cooking feels like climbing Everest. You just want to collapse and order something easy. Most advice acts like money lives in its own little vacuum. Cut this. Save that. Invest here. Done. As if your bank account isn't tangled up in your time, your energy, your relationships, your entire sense of worth. It ignores that when you're running on fumes, a small treat isn't laziness. It's survival. It ignores that shame makes you hide statements instead of facing them. It ignores that fear of judgment keeps you from asking for help. And when the advice pretends none of that exists, it doesn't just fail, it makes you feel worse. Like you're the problem. Like if you were just disciplined enough, you'd be winning. Spoiler, you're not broken. The advice is incomplete. Real change starts when we stop fighting our humanness and start working with it. Tiny guilt-free wins that build momentum. Plans that flex when life gets brutal. Compassion for the days when perfect isn't possible. Because money isn't separate from your life. It's woven into every part of it. If this is landing heavy because you felt that exact disconnect, you're not failing at money. You're just human in a world that sells robot-level perfection. There's this thing in psychology called ego depletion. The idea that willpower is like a battery with a finite charge. Every little decision you make throughout the day drains it a bit. What to wear, what to reply to that annoying email from your boss, whether to hit snooze one more time, what route to take to avoid traffic hell. By evening, after hundreds of those micro choices just to survive the day, your tank is on empty. So when some finance bro on YouTube or in a book says, just track every single dollar you spend, or just say no to eating out, it's simple discipline. They're completely glossing over the fact that your decision-making gas is already gone. You're not lazy. Your brain is legitimately tapped out from everything else life threw at you today. It's not that you don't want to budget or cook at home. It's that by the time you get to money stuff, you've got zero mental bandwidth left for another round of, should I or shouldn't I? And then there's the bigger context screw-up. Most financial advice is cookie-cutter. One-size-fits-all nonsense. You live in a sky-high cost-of-living city because that's where the decent-paying jobs actually are. Boom. Rent alone can swallow 60% of your take-home. No cut-back on lattes hack fixes structural rent gouging. You're sending money home to help family because in your culture, or just in your family, letting parents struggle alone isn't an option. That's not discretionary spending. It's non-negotiable. Chronic illness or unpredictable medical crap hits. You can't just plan better when a surprise ER visit wipes out what little buffer you scraped together. But the advice, it rarely nods to any of this real-life weight. It just hits you with, cut expenses, move somewhere cheaper, make more money, as if those are easy buttons anyone can push without massive trade-offs, uprooting your life, or straight-up impossible barriers. The truth? Those simple fixes ignore the structural, cultural, health, and emotional realities that make money decisions way more complicated than spreadsheets suggest. Real progress isn't about forcing robot-level willpower or pretending your life is a blank slate. It's about accepting that your energy is limited, your context is unique, and building tiny, sustainable habits that don't shame you on the hard days. And here's the part that really pisses me off. And I bet it hits you the same way. A ton of personal finance advice is straight up built on shame. It looks you dead in the eye and says, if you're struggling, it's because you made bad choices. You weren't disciplined enough. You didn't sacrifice hard enough. You blew money on wants instead of needs. And yeah, sometimes there's truth in that. Nobody's perfect. We all have moments where we could have done better. But most of the time, the real reason you're grinding just to stay afloat isn't because you're weak-willed or irresponsible. It's because the system is rigged to make everything harder than it should be. Look around. Wages have barely budged in decades while rent, groceries, gas, and everything else skyrocketed. In most cities, a decent place to live now eats 50–70% of your paycheck. If you can even find one. Healthcare bills in the US can wipe you out with one bad ER visit. Student loans follow you like a shadow, with interest rates that feel criminal. Childcare? In many places, it literally costs more than rent or a mortgage payment. These aren't personal failures. These are structural, economy-wide problems that hit regular people hardest. But what does most financial advice do? It ignores all of that noise and dumps 100% of the blame back on you. Just budget tighter. Cut out the avocado toast. Side hustle harder. Stop eating out. As if clipping coupons and skipping coffee is gonna magically fix stagnant wages, insane housing prices, or a $10K surprise medical bill. And when, because life is life, you can't follow the perfect plan to the letter. When you slip, when you need a break, when you help family, when you just want to feel normal for one damn day. The advice doesn't say, hey, the deck is stacked. Here's how to play the hand you've actually got. Instead, it whispers or screams, you're failing again because you're not trying hard enough. That shame, it doesn't motivate. It paralyzes. It makes people hide from their bank apps, avoid looking at statements, and feel like they'll never get ahead no matter what. The truth nobody wants to say out loud. You're not broken for struggling in a broken system. The advice that only blames you is incomplete at best, and straight up gaslighting at worst. Real help starts when we stop pretending it's all about personal grit, and start building strategies that work despite the rigged game. Small shame-free wins, boundaries around what you can actually control, community and compassion instead of solo suffering. If you've ever felt crushed under that, you just need more discipline guilt trip while the world keeps raising the bar. You're not imagining it, and you're definitely not alone. So what's the alternative? Here's the real deal shift that actually moves the needle for people who aren't living in a spreadsheet fantasy. Step 1. And this is huge. Stop believing the lie that you're broken. You're not lacking discipline. You're not bad with money. The advice is just wildly incomplete. It was never written with your actual life in mind. And that's 100% okay. You get to rewrite the rules so they fit you. The real goal isn't to nail someone else's perfect plan. The goal is to build a money system that actually works in your world. One that respects your energy limits, your stress, your values, your non-negotiables, and the fact that life doesn't pause for ideal conditions. That version usually looks way messier and way more human than the books preach. And that's the point. Examples of what good enough can look like and still count as real progress. You can't stash 6 months of expenses right now. Cool. What if you aim for $500, $1,000 as your oh shit buffer? That tiny pile can still kill a lot of the panic when the alternator dies or the kid needs braces. It's not sexy, but it's functional, and it lowers your baseline stress, which is huge. Investing 15% of your income feels impossible? Start with 3-5%. Automate it so you never see it. That small habit compounds quietly while you're busy living life. 5% invested consistently beats 0% invested while you wait for the right time that never comes. Meal prepping every Sunday is a non-starter because Sundays are already chaos. Kids, family stuff, recovery from the week? No shame. Instead, keep the freezer loaded with a few no-brain easy meals. Frozen burritos, frozen veggies plus protein you can throw in the Instant Pot, pre-made sauces, whatever works. It's not gourmet, but it stops the $50 DoorDash spiral when you're wiped. That's a win. The mindset flip is simple but powerful. Financial advice should serve you, not the other way around. You don't have to contort yourself into someone else's rigid mold. You get to bend the advice until it fits the shape of your actual life. Start small. Celebrate the ugly, imperfect wins. Protect your energy first, because burned out you makes worse money decisions than rested you. Build momentum with compassion, not criticism. You're not behind because you're failing. You're ahead the second you decide the plan has to work for you, not against you. Here's what I wish hit home for more people, especially the ones scrolling through perfect budgets and feeling like trash. Money isn't about perfection. It's about systems. And the best systems? They're dead simple. They don't require you to become a full-time accountant or live like a monk. You don't need a color-coded 47-tab spreadsheet tracking every single dollar down to the penny. You just need a rough idea of where your money's flowing and whether it's actually heading toward the stuff that matters to you. Not some influencer's highlight reel. You don't have to optimize every tiny decision like it's a video game boss fight. You just need to stack more good calls than bad ones over time. And guess what? You're still allowed to screw up. Allowed to have a brutal month where everything goes sideways. Allowed to say, today I choose my sanity over maxing out that savings rate. Allowed to buy the damn coffee because it keeps you from losing your mind. Because the real win isn't a flawless budget on paper. It's waking up and feeling less like money is strangling you. It's knowing you've got a little breathing room. It's that quiet sense of, I'm actually moving forward, even if the steps are small, slow, and sometimes sideways. Real systems look like this. A simple app or note on your phone that shows the big buckets. Rent/food/bills/fun/savings/family help. No micromanaging, just enough visibility to spot leaks. 1 or 2 automatic transfers that happen before you even see the money. $50 to emergency, $20 to investments, whatever you can swing without pain. A no judgment rule. If life gets heavy, you pause the aggressive saving and protect your mental health first. Momentum beats perfection every time. Permission to celebrate the messy wins. I didn't blow the whole paycheck on impulse this month. Hell yeah. The goal isn't to impress strangers on the internet with your net worth trajectory. It's to stop dreading the first of the month. To stop feeling like a failure every time you glance at your account. To build enough control that money stops being the loudest voice in your head. If this feels like a weight lifting off your chest right now, you're exactly who this message is for. You're not behind. You're not broken. You're just ready for a money approach that treats you like a human instead of a machine. And here's the other thing that nobody wants to say out loud. Financial advice loves to pretend luck doesn't exist, but luck is everywhere in this game. Some folks land a solid, stable job straight out of college. No gap years, no figuring it out phase. Some inherit a down payment, a chunk of cash, or even just parents who can co-sign loans or cover emergencies. Some skate through life without a single major medical bill, car wreck, layoff, or family crisis that derails everything. Some just catch a random break. Right place, right time, right connection, right timing. And if none of that happened for you, it doesn't mean you're screwing up. It doesn't mean you're less capable, less smart, or less deserving. It just means your path came with way more obstacles stacked against you from the jump. That's not fair. It's not even close to fair, but it's the reality most people are actually living in. So stop letting the highlight reel stories gaslight you into thinking, if they can do it, why can't I? They had a different starting line, different wind at their back, different safety nets. You're running uphill in the rain with weights on your ankles, and you're still moving forward. You're still paying bills most of the time. You're still showing up. You're still learning, tweaking, trying again after the setbacks. That takes guts, resilience, real strength. Give yourself credit for that. Not the fake hustle culture credit. The quiet, honest kind. I'm still in the fight. I'm figuring this out the hard way. And that's not nothing, because the people who made it without major bad luck, they often don't even realize how much easier their road was. But you know. And knowing doesn't make you bitter. It makes you real. So yeah, the path is harder for a lot of us. But harder doesn't mean hopeless. It just means your wins count double. Your small steps are bigger deals. And every time you keep going instead of giving up, that's proof you're tougher than the system that tried to break you. If you've ever felt like the deck was stacked and still chose to play anyway, that's not failure. That's badass. I'll leave you with this. Financial advice isn't going away anytime soon. And honestly, some of it is straight fire when it lands right. But here's the filter you gotta run everything through. Your actual, messy, beautiful, exhausting real life. Before you buy into any tip, hack, rule, or guru rant, hit pause and ask yourself these 3 questions. 1. Does this advice actually see my reality? The bills, the family pulls, the energy crashes, the city I can't just move out of, the health stuff that pops up uninvited? 2. Does it respect my limits? My willpower battery, my mental health days, my non-negotiables, instead of pretending they don't exist? 3. Does it leave me feeling more in control and hopeful? Or does it just pile on more guilt, shame, and why can't I just do this right? If the answer to that last one is, it makes me feel like a failure, then guess what? That advice isn't good for you. Full stop. Doesn't matter how many followers the person has or how proven the method is. If it crushes your spirit instead of lifting it, it's not the right fit. The hard truth nobody puts on a motivational graphic. There's no universal one right way to handle money. There's only the way that actually works for you right now. The one that lets you close your eyes at night without your stomach in knots. The one that treats you like a human being with real limits, real emotions, and real life happening all around you. Not a machine that can be reprogrammed overnight. And maybe that's the deepest lesson hiding in all this noise. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to nail every month. You don't have to look like the Instagram money crowd. You just have to be intentional. Make the next small choice with a little more awareness. Protect your energy when it matters most. Celebrate the ugly, unglamorous wins. And keep showing up, even when it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Because progress, slow, human, sometimes sideways progress, always beats perfection. Every single time. You've made it this far in a game that's harder than most people admit. That counts a lot. So give yourself that grace. Keep filtering the noise. Build the version that fits you. And if you ever need a reminder that you're not alone in this, I'm right here. You've got this. Not perfectly, just real. And that's more than enough. So yeah, forget chasing perfect. Ditch the shame. Build a money life that actually fits you. Your energy, your reality, your values. Progress over perfection. Small wins over big promises. You're not failing. You're figuring it out the real way. Keep going. You've got this.